Hi, it's the Lipstick Gal. Thank you so much for watching today. Let's talk about the best makeup I tried this year. There is so much stuff in front of me. I'm going to have to go through this really quickly, but let me just tell you, I was really surprised. My goal for 2024 was to do research beforehand and not just to blind buy, and to make sure that I was buying things that were going to suit my skin type, my age. I'm 50 next month. Everything would be perfect for what my needs were. So I'm looking at this through the lens of a 50-year-old woman who is looking for things that are going to be mature skin friendly, they're going to be easy, that are going to just make my day that much better. Let's start with foundation. And this one really surprised me because this is the one I'm wearing today. And I was like, I'm not a full coverage girly, but it's this one. This is the Mask Fit Red Cushion from Tarre. I also have the silver one. I tend to like this one better because it doesn't dry nearly as quickly and it gives me just a little bit more time to kind of get it on the skin and get it blended in. I'm wearing this today. I'm not wearing any corrector. I'm not wearing any concealer, just this. This does such a good job that I don't reach for anything else on the days that I'm wearing it. And I like this so much. This one's almost done. I already have a second one. Another one that I loved so much, it's not new, but was new to my collection this year, is the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. This one is beautiful. This is more medium coverage. This is a sort of foundation that if you are it's not for like no makeup days, it's for lighter makeup days where you want to wear just a little bit, you want some coverage, and you will look like you're wearing something. It's not like completely like, ooh, wow, perfect skin. No, you can tell that it's foundation, but if you apply it with a damp sponge, it is so lovely, so beautiful. Another one that gives you the option of having a little bit more coverage or medium coverage is this one right here from About Face. This Performer foundation surprised me. It's $20. You can pick it up at Ulta in the drugstore section, but it is absolutely beautiful on the skin. It performs like a luxury foundation. It actually gives you buildable coverage. It's medium. It has a doe foot applicator. That's the one thing I wish it had, like a pump on it. Okay, fine, I'll give you that. But for the price, I don't know that I tried anything else better than this year. This really surprised me and is such a great foundation. This one's not new, but they expanded their shade range and I finally have a perfect shade in Merit's Minimalist. I used to wear the shade Silk, but it wasn't right. And then they came out with this. This is Chiffon. And when I blend it in, it's so beautiful on the skin. Now, this is one of those foundations I feel is either hit or miss. Some people really love it and some people don't. For me, it is a super easy foundation to swipe on. And then I take a synthetic brush, something like this. This is the Rougher B04. And I'll just blend it in. It also works beautiful with the Merit #1 brush. I love this brush, but any synthetic brush, just kind of like buff it on in circular motions and all of a sudden I have beautiful skin. I can also use it as concealer under the eyes, but only if my eyes are well hydrated. The minute I skipped like an eye cream and then I try and get this on, it can look a little dry. This is one that I like because it kind of sets itself. I don't always have to wear powder with this. And the days that I don't wear powder, my skin looks more skin-like. And I really, really, really like that about this. All right, one of the most expensive ones I tried this year was this. This is the Christian Louboutin foundation. This is beautiful. I picked up the wrong shade. I don't remember what shade this is and I can't read it on the bottom because it's like a clear sticker in white on the bottom of this. I'll put it up for you on the screen. But I picked the wrong shade. That was me. And the place that I purchased it from does not allow returns. So I have been making this work by dropping just a little bit of blue mix in with it. And it makes it like the perfect neutral skin tone for me. This is beautiful. The level is bright. It's not too dark. It's not too light, but that little bit of blue makes it a little bit more neutral and less yellow. And it's amazing, amazing. Another one that I really like that was also very expensive this year is the Prada foundation. Oh my goodness. So this Reveal foundation is one of those that is medium to buildable. I feel like the coverage with this looks a little bit more skin-like than this does, but somehow I've been reaching for this a little bit more. Maybe because I don't have to mix like my perfect color. This one here, let's see, is the shade LN5. I like that it's refillable. That's fantastic. But what's interesting is that the bottle is glass and this is plastic. And the other thing that I'm not sure that I love is it rattles a little bit. I don't know that it rattles enough for it to break, but that just a little bit of annoyance. All right, last two really quick. I feel like I've been reaching for these a lot because they are so light on the face. They're two skin tints. I really love the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Serum Skin Tint. This is beautiful. I have the shade number 2. It's the lightest neutral shade. This is one where it has more pigment than like one of my all-time favorites. But what I like about this is that it does make my skin look like skin while giving just enough pigment to cover up like the red spots, the slightly uneven spots. You can still see my freckles peeking through. You can still see my sunspots, but my skin overall looks a little bit more homogeneous and it still looks skin-like. It doesn't look heavy. It doesn't look makeup-y. And when you set it with powder, she stays all day. Beautiful. But my absolute favorite, and I've been wearing this so much, I almost reached for this today, is the Lisa Eldridge Skin Tint. This is the Seamless Skin Tint. I have the shade T1. I think I'm going to have to try a different shade. This might be just too light for me, but I love this because when I put it on with the most minimal concealer, like a little bit of blush, mascara, and eyebrows, and a lip gloss, you can hardly tell I'm wearing anything on my skin. Like really, it looks like nothing. What really shows up more is the concealer under the eyes, because when you drop like 4 or 5 drops of this on the skin, it evens it out, and you would think it wouldn't be enough because it's so sheer. This is literally no makeup. If you're a person who likes light coverage, this right here, but somehow there's still substance to it. It still does knock down the redness. Of course, you can see freckling through there. You can still see like the texture of your skin, but this looks so skin-like. This is like, for me, like in the middle of summer when I want just a little bit of perfection. She also hangs tight. Like I've worn this for 12 plus hours, still looks good. But I really, really, really love this. I feel like this and the Tier are the ones that were like the biggest revelations to me this year, and they're both oval. I think that's interesting. So let's talk about some powders. The first powder that I fell head over heels for was this. This is Portrait Mode, the Refining Setting Powder from M Cosmetics. It comes with, mine is dirty, excuse it. It is the thinnest little teeny tiny puff. And I love this. I'm actually wearing this today and I like mine so much I've hit pan. Now, when you have as much powder as I do, when you hit pan, that is like a huge thing. And I like this so much, I've got a backup. I don't want to be without this. This is like my favorite pressed powder. This is great because it's so lightweight. It doesn't look powdery. It takes down the glow when you need it to take down the glow, but it doesn't end up getting cakey at all. And that little tiny puff, you would think, what good is that thin little, oh no, there's something miraculous about this. I love carrying this in my purse. It's great for touch-ups. The next powder I fell in love with this year is this one. This is the RMS Hydra Powder. Now, this is one of those powders that some people love and some people don't love. I heard Nikki LaRose say she couldn't stand this powder. It was in her fails. And I was like, oh, I love that powder. But Nikki is in her 30s still, I think early to mid 30s, and I'm 50. And what this does, first of all, it sets my face. It has just the smallest amount of like glow to it. And I'm not talking about like a highlight glow. I'm talking more along the lines of just like a luminous skin-like quality. I love that about this powder. This powder also does not make my skin look dry. This powder sits beautifully under my eyes, as does this one. And that's what I'm looking for. The older I get, this is a real problem area for me. And when I can find a powder that can sit underneath my eyes, stay all day, and not make my eyes look drier, that is amazing. This is a really fabulous powder and you're getting like a ton of it, but I feel like I've gone through like half of it already. Love that. Another one that I wasn't sure about at first, but it changed when I got the puff. It's the Makeup by Mario. Okay, so this right here is the Surreal Skin Soft Blur Setting Powder. This makes all the difference. I didn't ever think I was going to be like, because I'm not like a beauty blender loyal sort of person. I want like a sponge. And this is one of the Shop Miss A sponges. I have a ton of other things, and I was using other velvet puffs with it. And I was like, I don't know. And then I heard Alexis from the Lipstick Lesbians talking about how this puff made all the difference with this powder. And I thought this powder was okay, but it wasn't like everything my heart wanted this powder to be, because when it was talking about a soft blur setting powder, and they had just changed the Givenchy Prismaline powder, that is my favorite. I have a backup of that, but since you can't get it anymore, it's kind of like terrible to talk about it. This right here, I was hoping would be like the replacement, because I was always using that Givenchy powder. Loved it so much. The minute I got this, changed everything. And this is now one of my most used, most reached for powders. Another one that I like that I recently found this fall that really surprised me is this. This is the travel size. The full size is much larger, but they didn't have it in store when I was there. This is the Kimchi Chic Puff Puff Pass Setting Powder. This right here is a setting and baking powder. Now, I don't use it for baking because I don't bake. I need the smallest amount on a little detail brush like this under the eyes. Beautiful. To set the corners of my nose. Sometimes I'll put it on a puff like this and I'll just like pat it in everywhere. It is so beautiful. It does not add texture to my face. It does not dry my face out. I can use the Make It by Mario under the eyes. I can use this under the eyes, and that's what I'm looking for. I don't want to have to reach for like my Pat McGrath under eye setting powder. I don't want to have to reach for something different under my eyes. I want one powder that I can put everywhere, that I can trust. It's not going to make me look powdery. That's not going to make me look dry. That is not going to make my skin look older and crinkly and crepey. These four powders are beautiful. There is so much here. I've broken it up. I'm going to do another video where I'm talking just about eye makeup, and then a third video where I'm talking just about lips, because I found a lot of great stuff this year and I didn't want to miss out on telling you some of my absolute faves. So let me go next to bronzer. I think the one that really surprised me, the one that I have continued to reach for over and over and over again, is this one from Lancome. This is their CE Skin Transforming Bronzer. I have the shade 01 Fair. Mine has completely lost the pan embossing. I'm wearing it today. It's just enough. It's not too much. The texture is so finely milled. It is so beautiful. This is one that I can apply and apply and apply and apply, and it never looks like I'm wearing too much. I don't know what it is. It's probably this shade as well. It's a great neutral shade where it's not too yellow, it's not too orange, it doesn't have too much pink or red in it. I really, really, really love this. The formula, the shade, everything. This is a fair person's bronzer of your dreams. If you haven't tried it, please try it. It's so, so good. Another one that I was head over heels for and I think is fantastic is from RMS. This is Beach Walk Betty. They came out with a line of bronzers this year, and again, pan embossing nearly gone. It used to say RMS right here in this middle square, but the fact that I'm losing those like little rays of the sun that are coming out, no. This is fantastic. This one does tend to lean a little bit more on the pink side. It also has a little touch of radiance to it. You can see it in the pan. It looks almost like a highlighter. Don't worry, it's not. It's got that sort of subtle sheen that looks like skin as opposed to looking like powder. So it doesn't look dry. I don't think this looks dry either, but this really has more of a natural kind of a satin glow quality to it, but it's not really even satiny. It just looks like skin. She's beautiful. I love it. Totally recommend. This one really surprised me. This is the All Hours Hyper Bronze. This one tends to be a little on the warmer side. This is the 01 Fair shade as well. This is beautiful. Again, another one that you can apply with Wild Abandon that doesn't actually ever get to be too much. I love that. I can use a big, giant, fluffy bronzing brush and just go to town. Now, definitely more expensive than the other two, but very, very lovely. This one is one that I reach for on days when I'm wearing warmer cheeks because it is just a little bit warmer Then let me show you them next to each other. See the difference? Definitely got more warmth in this, and this tends to be just a little bit more neutral. Tried a couple of Cheeque products this year that were absolutely beautiful. I love the formula. This one here is from Persona. This right here is just called their Bronze Multi-Stick, and this is the shade Mojave. It's the lightest shade there is in this bronze collection, but for me, it's the way that it blends out with like no effort. It's like, I mean, you could tap it with your fingers and that's all you need. Same with this one. This is a mini size of the Westman Atelier contour, and this is the lightest shade. It's definitely more of a contour shade. You can see that because it's a little bit cooler and a little bit darker, but it also, again, blends with no effort. This is Biscuit. This is beautiful. When I'm done with Biscuit, I'll definitely get another one, but I'll tell you, both of these were so good this year. I almost forgot about this. My last powder bronzer. I've been loving this since it arrived in PR. This is the Cheeque Tarre Baked and Pressed Powder Bronzer in the shade 10 Light. This is from What's Up Beauty. These are beautiful. They came out with a new Cheeque collection. This is the lightest shade in 10 Light, and it does have a swirl of color. Every single one is different. These are absolutely stunning. They do have some blushes as well, but this shade here is one of those that when you mix all the shades together, it's not too dark. And I really like that about this. It also is buildable. So if you're worried that you're gonna touch your bronzer brush into something and then to your face and it's gonna be too much all of a sudden, don't worry, it doesn't happen with this. This is one of those bronzers that is buildable, that looks so pretty on the skin and is fair skin friendly. This lightest shade is beautiful. All right, talking about What's Up Beauty, also really love the blushes from the Cheeque Tarre collection. I have all 4 blushes, but the 2 that I use the most is this one right here. This one is called Relaxed Aroma. This one is number 30. And this one here is Serene Sienna. This is number 20. So definitely more of a peachy one and more of like a rosy one with a little bit of a cooler lean to it. These are so beautiful. The lightest one, the number 10 one, my oldest just like kidnapped. I think it's in her room now, but I share a lot of my makeup with my teenagers. I love to be able to do that, but these are so beautiful. If you struggle with ending up with clown cheeks, like where you feel over blushed, where you put on too much, where you were inspired by, you know, the 1980s, don't worry, these don't do that. These Cheeque Tarre blushes, as well as the bronzers, they're so buildable. It's really hard to overdo it, even with the deepest shade on my fair skin. Shade 10, shade 20, it's like you really have to be intentional. And I like that with the blush, because the minute I tap in, tap off, and touch my cheek, and it's like, it's too much, darling, too much. So these are fantastic. Another RMS blush that I picked up this year is this one here in Crystal Slipper. I love this so much. It's such a beautiful blush. This is one of those that has some radiance to it. It has more radiance than the bronzer. So this one you could use kind of like a blush topper if you wanted to, but I like using it on the cheek and then skipping highlight. I mean, could you always highlight? Of course you can always highlight, but this one here in Crystal Slipper is the lightest shade they have, and it is the most, I would say, nude kind of beigey blush. And if you're looking for something that's not too much, this is fantastic. Another one that's not too much, the new reformulated NARS. This is the shade Behave. You're gonna see a lot of blushes that are kind of like in this tone, because that's what I find keeps me from looking like, you know, circus territory. If I don't want to look like clown cheeks, I have to go for a much softer blush. I love a really bright, intense blush, but I find sometimes the more intense my blush is, if I don't have it blended really well, if it's too obvious, it just ages me. And these softer blushes don't. I really like this one, the reformulation. Another one from Persona. This is the same formula as the bronzer, but this one is in the shade Georgia, and it's such a pretty peachy shade. It's so good, but it blends with no effort whatsoever. Also really loved this. This is from Danessa Myricks. This is not actually a blush. She does have blushes that come in this format, in this Upsolite format, but for me, this is one of her lowlights, where it is one of those that it is very much, for me, a blush shade, but it has some reflective qualities to it. And I find that this is so beautiful on the cheek as a blush and highlight combo. So for me, this is more blush than it is highlight. This is the lightest shade. And if I put this on as highlight, it's just too deep for my skin tone. So I don't like highlight with it, but I blush with it, and it is stunning. It's really subtle. So beautiful. Another one that I loved this year, this one kind of surprised me because I didn't know what to think about it. I tried a whole face of About Face Beauty. This is their Cheek Freak, and this is the shade Champagne Room. And this is the most beautiful kind of coral with a pink lean. It's so beautiful. So gorgeous. You can build it up. You can keep it really light and airy. Really like that. All right, let's talk about some highlights. The first highlight that I really enjoyed and fell in love with this year is one that was sent to me by the brand. It's from Flight 70. This is their Just Like Heaven Glow Back Lucent Light. Okay, so this is a cream highlight. I feel like all my highlights this year are cream highlights, and I feel like that says a lot about where I'm at with my mature skin, because if I put powder on, especially powder highlight, if it's not just the right formula, it can be horrible, can ruin the whole look. But this right here, I have it on my middle finger. It's not a lot of glow. It is such a subtle glow, which is what I want on my mature skin. And Flight 70 is one of those brands that is making makeup for people who are in my age demographic. Can my 16 and 14-year-olds use it? Yeah, but it's not created for them. It's created to give you the glow that you want without being too glowy, without being too balmy, without and it's just enough and not too much. I wish they had more shades. They only have this one shade, but it's so pretty and it goes so well with so many things. This kind of really surprised me and blew me out of the water. The one highlight that stole the show for me this year, and I shouldn't have, but I started out with one. This is the Balm Essential from Chanel. I love it so much I picked up two more. I know. Did I need 3 Chanel highlights? No, I did not. Let me just show you the one that I'm wearing today. It is very subtle. This is the Sculpting shade. And when you put it on your skin, you can build it up to be really glassy and glowy. And I tapped it on today with my finger, but I wanted a little glow. I didn't want it to be too glowy. I'm going to throw on a little bit more just to even out both sides. But I like that it looks like healthy, luminous skin. That's what I'm wanting. The older I get, the less of that landing strip of highlight that I want, that's shimmery and pearly. Sometimes I don't mind that, but truthfully, that can be really harsh on my skin because I have a lot of texture right in through here, right where all of my crow's feet start in. I don't mind being 50. 50 is great, but I don't want it to draw attention to textured areas of my face, and I find that balm highlights don't do that. One that I've recently found that to me is amazing is this one right here from L'Oreal. This is Lumi La Glace. They have 2 different types of highlights. They have 3 of these glass ones and they have 3 of the pearl ones. And the glass one, guess who looks just like the one from Chanel? This one I think is like $12.99, and they have this shade here. This one is called Glassy Pearl. And they have 2 other shades that are a little bit deeper, a rose one and a little bit more gold. And then they have the same kind of stick form. And instead of being kind of clear and glassy, they have a real pearl to them, more like the Flight 70, where you can see that it's not just a clear balm. It has more of this metallic shine to it without being, and I wasn't interested in that. I wanted something that was going to kind of mimic the ones from Chanel. And oh, does Little Miss Lumi La Glace deliver from L'Oreal. This is beautiful, and at $12.99 is so much more affordable than $48 for one of these Chanel ones. Are these worth it? Yeah. If you find a shade you like, go for it. But if you want to try something that's like that at a less expensive price, or you want to see whether a balm highlight is for you, $12.99, that's a great route to go. So those are the highlights that really knocked my socks off this year. Last product I wanted to share with you today is one that I feel kind of guilty talking about because I know it's out of stock at Sephora. I don't know whether it is at Ulta, whether you can still pick it up or not. And I think the only place to get it still is at Hourglass. It's the Hourglass Dragon Ambient Lighting Palette. I was like, I'm not gonna get one. I'm not gonna get one of those holiday palettes from Hourglass. I don't need it. I have so many others. And then I was in store at Sephora and I swirled my fingers in these beautiful powders, and guess who came home with me? It's like it followed me home. And then I had to go, can I keep it? It came home. But I love this, absolutely love this. I have really been loving both of these really light finishing powders. The one that I have a full size of is the one in diffused light. I always have a full size compact of that. I just bought a new one because this one we're down to the terracotta tile, but I've kind of put those to the side and I've been reaching for these guys. My only beef with this is that I need to use smaller brushes. I want to use like my big powder brush. I want this, but if I put this in here, it's a disaster. So I do end up using, you know, more size appropriate brushes to get in here, you know, to get into this or to get into this. But I really, really love this palette. I think it's beautiful. If you happen to have picked up one that was appropriate for your skin tone, I hope you love it as much as I do. But it's been a long time since I picked one up. But this really reminded me why these are so, so good. Okay, I hope I went through everything quick enough. Don't forget, I'm going to be doing a video just about eye products. We'll do eyebrows and mascaras and liners and eyeshadows and things like that. And I have a whole bin full of lip products. Oh, there's some good ones in here. So keep your eyes open. I'm going to keep doing best of the year. I have 2 more videos coming for you. If you want to see the ones that were the worst, the things that I really, really didn't like and I thought were just terrible, check the description box down below. I will have a link in there for you for the worst lip products and the worst makeup of the year. Thank you so, so much for making time to watch today. I hope you have a fantastic day and I will see you again soon. Bye.